What is up, side hustlers, entrepreneurs, business builders, and dream makers? Welcome to Sell Your Side Hustle Podcast, episode 23. Today, I want to have a conversation with you guys about something that is known in the industry, known in the biz as SOPs, standard operating procedures. These are really important things, especially as you start to scale, you start to grow your business, you start to just take on more clients. The more work you do, the more things are going on, the more you're going to realize how important SOPs are. So I'd like to have a conversation about kind of how to make good SOPs. And honestly, it's nowhere near as hard as a lot of people want to make it out to be. Before we do that, I want to share something with you guys because this is actually, believe it or not, crazy as it's going to seem. This is where this topic came to me from. Okay. So today I sent out a marketing email. I have an email list of at least a couple hundred people, and I send them emails. I try to do it every day, but I'm really bad at daily emails, honestly. So for me, I make it a couple times a week usually. And that when I'm on it, but here is the subject line that I sent out today. 10-step formula, step one, get clarity on your target market. This was inspired from a post that I put on Facebook yesterday where I just wrote out this 10-step formula where I just said, hey, this is how you build a business. And so I just listed the 10-step formula. Maybe that 10-step formula will be an entire episode topic one day. That might be pretty cool. But I sent out this message today where I broke down step one, which is getting clarity on your target market, right? So, I made it into email. So, hey, so-and-so, yesterday I made a post about a 10-step formula for making an incredible business. Now I'm going to spend the next 10 days breaking down each step. Step one was get clarity on your target market. So here's a simple process you can use to do just that. Get clarity on your target market. First, list out every market segment you could serve. Then, rank each segment on a scale of 1 to 10 on how much personal fulfillment you get when working with it. Then, rank each segment on a scale of 1 to 10 on how much value your service adds to the segment, in parentheses, how appreciative they are of your services. Next, rank each segment on a scale of 1 to 10 on how profitable serving that segment is. Sometimes when you serve different segments, you get to charge more. Sometimes when you serve different segments, you get to reduce your costs. So just how profitable each segment is. Then you add up all three scores. Whichever segment has the highest total score is the segment you should focus on. Now, build a client avatar. This means gathering general info like their typical age, gender, family status, geography, career, income, education, etc. Then you want to get a list of, you want to learn all of their desires and their fears. You want to start listing out like how they're thinking. You want to list out what media preferences they have, what social media platforms they're on, what magazines they read, things like that. And then you want to actually give them a face and a name to the description so that you can actually keep them in your mind's eye while you're writing copy. And I said, hint, no matter who you are or what you do, if your target market is quote unquote everyone, that's probably the number one reason why you are struggling. Now take this, apply it to your business, and be much more successful. Step 2 is coming tomorrow. Here's to your success, Devin Tracy. Okay. So today, I sent this out and I had somebody respond to it, and it really got my mind working. Here's the response that they gave me. They said, there is no capital N, capital O, clarity dealing with y'all. And then they signed it with their name. And that's the entire message. First thing that I thought about when I saw that was, for somebody complaining about no clarity, you're not being very clear about what your complaint is. I have no idea what the thought process was behind sending this response. I don't know even really what they're complaining about or what they expected my response to be or what would have been an ideal response in their mind. I don't know if this individual was complaining about my message, if they were complaining about how they still don't know how to find target market fit. I don't know if they were complaining about They don't like my content overall. I don't know if they were just saying, hey, what's the point of this email? Which if that was the question, what's the point of this email? That's a fair question because that was an email without a call to action. I almost never do those. The call to action isn't always to like buy something, but sometimes it's like linking to a YouTube video or to a podcast episode. It's very rare that I do any posts that have no call to actions through emails. Right now, I'm just sending some emails that are just value building emails. So I'm just giving knowledge via email. That's the entire purpose. And so if that would have been the question of what is the purpose of this? What do I get out of this? Be like, nope, I'm just adding value. That's the purpose. That's the whole point. But as stands, I have no idea what this person's complaint or concern or critique is. So I have no idea how to address it. The best I could do is email them back and say, hey, just to clarify, what on earth are you talking about? Right. But that'd be about it. And that got my gears turning on the value of SOPs. Because when you start having a team, you start wanting to outsource work. What you don't want is you don't want a situation where you think that you've said very clearly exactly what you expect from the client or from your team member, from whoever you're outsourcing the work to. And they're sitting here saying, I have no idea what you're asking. You don't want that dynamic where one person's like, I want X, Y, Z, da, 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 da. You think you're being very clear. And then the other person's sitting there like, if I had any idea what you were referencing, this might be helpful. Right. So that's why I wanted to just share with you guys how I build out SOPs. I think it's super simple and super effective. It's worked really well whenever I outsource work. The first thing that you want to do is just catalog your work. So it'll slow you down a little bit the first time that you do it, but you only ever have to do it once, so it's not a big deal. But what you want to do is whenever you're doing a specific task, just one day, open up a doc and just bullet point out what you do. Okay, so step one is just bullet point out what you do. So if I were going to make an SOP on how I make my podcast, I would say, you know what? Okay, so the first bullet's going to be how I come up with an idea. I'm going to describe my creative process and how I come up with an idea. Next bullet, I'm going to say, then I very simply just open up Zoom and record on Zoom. Next bullet is I let Zoom download or upload the file, and I open that up in Wondershare from More. That's the editing software I use. And then I would have a couple bullets about how I edit, the things that are important to me, how I time the music, and then I would have a couple bullet points breaking down that I actually I download 3 files off of Wondershare from More for each episode. I download a video one for YouTube. I download an audio one for podcatchers, and then I remove the intro and the outro, and I download that again, and I do that specifically as the file that I'm going to use to cut up into shorts. Then I'll start listing how I upload, how I write my show notes, how I distribute to all of the different channels, and then I'll talk about how I make those shorts, right? And that'll be the file and just bullet points. Now, that's a pretty good SOP on its own. Just having a checklist that's very clear and written out is great, but here's how you take it up a notch and you make it even better. Okay? What you do now is you open a new file, a new Google Doc, right? And on this Google Doc, you have headings for everything that you need. So I have a heading for a Vimeo video. That's going to be blank for now, but it's going to be like video walkthrough. It's going to be the title of the heading. And then the next one is going to be a heading for Anchor, where I go to distribute the podcast, right? And then below that, I'm going to have the link to Anchor login. I'm going to have the login credentials. And then the next one's going to be YouTube, same thing, credentials and stuff like that, right? Everything that somebody needs to access in order to do this for you is listed. Then you have links to everything, and you have login information to everything. And then that first Vimeo video is a walkthrough of you using that document to do whatever the task is. So I would use that document as an anchor point. And if it was about this podcast, then I'd have the links to all the distribution channels. I'd have the link to the editing software. I'd have the link to everything. And I would just have this doc open. I'd record myself and the screen which again, you can do on Zoom. I would probably use OBS Studio for that. And just walk through, hey, this is how I do it. This is me walking through. And then as long as it takes for you to do the task is how long you make the video, right? Or as long as it takes for you to point out how to do the task, right? Every piece of it. And then make that video, upload it to Vimeo or upload it to YouTube, put that link on this doc. This is the doc that you then send to other people. And then the last thing it has is you're actually going to link to that checklist that you've already made, right? So you're going to mention this in the video. You're going to be like, you can go here to see these steps boiled out, right? And with all of those together, somebody has this one location that they go to in order to know how to do everything for you. They'll have a video so they can watch it if they don't understand. They have detailed bullets that they can read through if that helps them. And then have also in the doc the link to communication through Slack or however you communicate, and just tell them that if they have any questions, they can reach out to you. For me, this is a very helpful way to make SOPs that are very easy to hand to other people. So that's what I had to share with you guys today, and this is really cool. In 2 days, we're going to have a guest speaker. So we're going to have a guest on the show. We're going to ask them some questions. You're going to learn some insight from somebody other than me. Super exciting. So I hope you're there for that. And do not forget to hit the like and the subscribe, and also to give us a review and to share this with other people so that the podcast can keep going. That's all I got for you guys today. I look forward to being in your earbuds once again tomorrow. Love you guys. God bless.